Hi, my name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to Sassy Seer Sheila and New Light Streaming Love, as this will be seen on both channels. This is a letter. This is so interesting. I saw this post first thing on Facebook this morning, and I knew that I was going to record it today. I got the ping right away, but I got started on recording the RZN series. I took a little break and I got a ping from Jason who said, "Are you still recording?" And I didn't tell him I was recording, so he wouldn't have known that, right? Except that we all are quite uh we know what we're each doing. We can feel it. And I told him I was taking a break, and he actually asked if I would mind doing him a favor, and he asked me to record this. So I knew this morning that it was important. My inner being, a larger part of myself, knew that. So without further ado, A Letter from Your Light by Jason Gray. And there's quite a bit of Roman numerals here, and I believe it is today's date. But yeah, 2025, 28. Yep, no, 26. That doesn't say that. I don't know. I can't read Roman numerals, I'll be honest with you. It is XVIII dot VIII dot MMXXV. Hey, you. Yes, you. Not the version of you that moves through the world with practiced composure. Not the one who knows how to speak when spoken to, how to respond when expected, how to perform just enough of yourself to remain accepted. I'm not talking to that version. I'm speaking to the one underneath, the one you do not show, the one you barely let yourself feel anymore, the one you silence the moment it starts to rise. It is me, the part of you that you have been hiding, the quiet glow behind your eyes that still flickers when something real passes through you, the warmth you give to others so effortlessly, yet withhold from yourself as if you are somehow unworthy of your own kindness. The softness you buried beneath layers of control because somewhere along the way you learned softness was not safe. I have been here the entire time, not lost, not gone, not broken, just waiting. Not with impatience, not with resentment, not with judgment, but with a love that has never changed, even when everything else in your life did. A quiet, steady, unwavering presence. I've been sitting in the stillness you keep calling emptiness, but it was never empty. It was always me. You have carried more than you admit, more than you explain, more than anyone around you has ever fully understood. You have, and I maintain that you have understood, that any of us have understood, period. You have learned how to function while holding weight that was never meant to be carried alone. You have learned how to keep going when stopping felt like it might collapse everything. You have learned how to smile in ways that convinced everyone else you were okay, even when you knew you were not. And the truth is, you got very good at it. So good that people stopped asking if you were all right. So good that even you started believing the version of yourself you were performing. I never believed it because I felt everything you were holding underneath. You have loved deeply, not carefully, not conditionally, not halfway. You gave your presence, your attention, your care, your loyalty. You gave people the parts of yourself you were still trying to understand, and when they could not meet you there, when they did not see you, did not feel you, did not recognize what you were offering, you did not stop loving. You just stopped showing it. You learned how to contain it, how to ration it, how to hide it beneath distance and restraint because it hurt less to be unseen by choice than to be unseen while standing fully open. Somewhere along the way, something changed. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. You began to translate survival into identity. You started believing that strength meant silence, that control meant safety, that needing less meant being stronger, that expressing less meant risking less. You became careful with yourself, measured, calculated, contained. You stopped letting things move freely through you, and in doing that, you stopped letting me breathe. You did not bury me because you did not care. You buried me because you cared too much, because you realized how deeply you feel, how far your awareness reaches into people, how easily you pick up what others hide, how naturally you connect to things most people never even notice. And instead of being shown how to hold that, you were shown how to suppress it. So you adapted. You covered me with logic. You wrapped yourself in independence. You convinced yourself that not needing anyone would protect you from being hurt. You told yourself, stay steady. Do not expect too much. Do not go too deep. Do not let people see everything. Over time, those were not just thoughts anymore. They became rules, rules you lived by, rules that kept you safe, rules that also kept you alone. Listen to me now. Really listen. I am not something you need to protect the world from, and I am not something you need to protect yourself from. I am not your weakness. I am not your flaw. I am not the part of you that makes life harder. I am the part of you that makes life real. I am you before the conditioning, before the adaptation, before the silent agreements you made just to belong. I am the version of you that did not question whether you were, quote, too much because you were not. You were just fully alive. I know why you shut the door. I know why you keep distance even when you want connection. I know why closeness feels like both a desire and a threat. I know why you hesitate when someone starts to really see you. It is not because you do not care. It is because you care in a way that does not come with limits. This is so true. You do not feel in halves. You do not connect in fragments. You do not give pieces, you give presence. And when that is not returned, it does not just disappoint you, it affects you deeply. So you learned something dangerous. You learned that it is easier to hold back than it is to feel everything. You learned that it is safer to stay guarded than it is to risk being fully seen. You learned that it is better to appear strong than to be understood. That lesson came at a cost. The cost was me. Let me remind you of something you forgot. You were never broken. Not when things fell apart, not when people walked away, not when you questioned everything about yourself. You were responding, adapting, protecting something inside you that still mattered, and that something was me. You are not too sensitive. You are not someone who needs to be reduced in order to be accepted. You are someone who was built to feel deeply in a world that avoids feeling. That does not make you incompatible. It makes you rare. You do not need to become harder. You do not need to become less. You do not need to strip away parts of yourself to make others comfortable. You do not need to shrink your depth just because others have not learned how to meet it. You need to return, not to who you were, but to what you never stopped being. I am your light, not something external, not something mystical or distant, something real, something constant, something that has remained intact beneath every layer you have built. Even now, even here, even after everything, you still feel. That means I am still here. You still care. That means I was never lost. You still notice things others overlook. That means you never became numb. Everything you went through did not destroy you. It shaped you. It refined you. It made you more aware of what matters and what does not. It did not take your light. It taught you how easily it can be hidden. Hidden is not gone, and suppressed is not dead. You do not have to prove anything anymore. You have already survived enough to validate your strength. You have already endured enough to justify your resilience. You do not need to keep earning your worth through struggle. And the truth is that people who are meant for you will not require you to hide. They will not be intimidated by your depth. They will not ask you to be less so they can feel more comfortable. They will recognize something in you, something familiar, something real. They will recognize me before they can. They will recognize me. Before they can, you have to stop keeping me hidden. Let me breathe. Let me move. Let me exist outside of silence. Write what you have been holding back. Say what you have been suppressing. Feel what you have been controlling. Let it come out unfiltered, not perfect, not polished, not controlled, real. You do not need to be composed to be powerful. You do not need to have it all figured out to be worthy. You do not need to protect yourself from everything. You just need to stop abandoning yourself. I am asking you, not for anyone else, not for approval, not for recognition, but for your own freedom. Let me out. Let me stand with you instead of behind you. Let me guide you, not through fear, but through truth. Let me remind you who you are when you are not trying to survive. You have carried everything alone for too long. You do not have to anymore. Let me carry you now. You are not alone. You were never alone. You just forgot I was still here. With all the love you forgot you deserved your light. Wow, Jason. That's beautiful and very true. I have a feeling almost everyone who follows Jason's work can relate to this letter in a very big way. Each of us have come to recognize where we have suppressed ourselves. I mean, I actually heard those words, I don't know how many times coming up, how intimidating my presence is. And when you don't understand that, when you don't really get what it is that you're doing that's intimidating everybody, that's difficult. So, wow. Until we meet again, my friends, be well.